Good evening and welcome. My name is Jeff Bentley. Let me begin by acknowledging how grateful we are here at the Kansas City Ballet to have been invited to host the memorial service event for Billie Mahoney here at the Bolender Center. Billie was a presence here in this building, whether taking her interview series with local or guest dance personalities, or teaching tap to a host of avid Billie Mahoney acolytes, or receiving the 2017 Dance USA National Champions Award when Kansas City Ballet hosted that national conference here back in August of 17. Billie Mahoney belongs here. There are many reasons that Billie belonged in this building, but I would say the most compelling was her heart. Billie was a dancer's dancer, and this building is built for dancers. She had the heart of a dancer. Over the next hour, we will learn, or we will be reminded, all of the reasons Billie Mahoney was beloved, respected, admired, revered even. But for me, and I suspect so many of you here tonight, the most accurate descriptor of Billie Mahoney is simply friend. She was our friend, our beautiful, talented, accomplished, outspoken, opinionated, generous, loyal friend. And very obliged her gift to each and every one of us. Thank you. I'd like now to introduce Nancy.
Good evening, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Nancy Murdoch, and I was proud to be a member of Billie Mahoney's dance troupe beginning in 2009. I actually met Billie in the fall of 2008 when I showed up in her City in Motion dance class after seeing the huge article in Pitch magazine on her. She's on the cover. The title of the cover was Dancing Queen. And there was an incredible story about Billie. In the magazine, I was like, I gotta take tap dance lessons from her. Because I've been thinking about taking tap up again. I started tap when I was 4 years old. And tap till I was 16, and then I quit. And I thought, it might be fun to do some tap. So anyway, I showed up in Billie's class the first night, for the intermediate class. And lo and behold, learned a little dance called Mame. Mame was one of the first dances I think that many of those dancers learned. It was either that or the waltz club, and we didn't want to show you the waltz club, believe me. So it was built with a lot of the elements of Billie's warm-up, which she had modified for each level of class, but a lot of the same elements in the warm-up showed up in the main, so it was pretty easy to learn. So I picked it up the first night, and I was just thrilled. I was like, oh, we got to dance already, right? So we thought that might be a good way to start tonight, to show you our company here, warming up with Mame. It's sort of like one of those line dance production numbers. Again, it has all this nice warm-up elements. So we're going to do that for you. And then after the company performs, we're not going to have any introduction, but a video will show up on the monitors that was filmed by Kevin McKinney. Where's Kevin? Right here. When Billie won the Dance USA Champion Award in 2018. Now, if you don't know what Dance USA is, it's a national service organization of dance folks. And when they have their conference every year, it's situated in the city, of course. And in 2018, it was here in Kansas City, and it was hosted by the Kansas City Ballet. And the organization chooses a person as their champion every year for that. And Billie was the awardee for 2018 So you will see the introductory video that Kevin created for that presentation. All right, without any further ado, the Billie Mahoney Dance Tribute.
Billie Mahoney's first dance classes came at the age of 4. She and her brother were latchkey kids who rode the streetcar together to get to their respective dance lessons and drum lessons. Billie Mahoney spent nearly 40 years in New York City with a performing career on a variety stage, in film, and in television. She was a featured act with Lionel Hampton and his band in nightclubs and theater tours, including New York's Apollo Theater. She made personal appearances with Bob Hope, musical theater with Bob Fosse. She was featured in the Ringling Brothers Circus at Madison Square Garden as the champion baton twirler. Billie did a tour with the USO in Korea and Japan. While there, she visited orphanages. Billie's television appearances include The Tonight Show. She danced with Gregory Hines at the Folly Theater, where he called her a legend in tap dance. And at the age of 75, Billie was a featured performer in the Palm Springs Follies. Her teaching highlights include modern jazz and tap dance classes in New York City's Broadway studios. She was on the dance faculty at Juilliard, where she assisted Jose Limon and directed the Limon Dance Theater on tour of the Soviet Union. Billie has taught at universities worldwide. She has a master's degree in media studies from the New School in New York City. Billie is the host and producer of Dance On with Billie Mahoney, which aired in New York City for 15 years and is now produced at the Todd Bolender Center, airing on Yom KC Cable Channel 17, KHEN. A Laba notation specialist, she has notated the works of Balanchine, DeMille, Jose Greco, Bob Fosse, Jack Cole, and Chubby Checker. But what is Billie doing today? At 89 years old, she is on the faculty at City in Motion and at the Kansas City Ballet School. Billie lives tap and she promotes tap with her Tap Jams, now hosted at the Uptown Arts Bar. Billie is still choreographing shows today with the Billie Mahoney dancers. Billie is also the subject of an upcoming documentary film, Dance On Billie Mahoney. You can sign up for updates at billiemovie.com. Billie is a uniter. She is most proud of her work with the community, of her students who have become professionals. Billie is dance in Kansas City, and because of that, Billie Mahoney is a champion among champions, and this year's winner of the 2017 Champion Award. Thank you, Billie Mahoney.
My name is Cindy Black. Thank you all for being here to celebrate Billie's amazing life. Billie's sphere of influence reached past local, regional, national, and international borders. She was undeniably a consummate ambassador for the arts. During the reception, you ought to take a look at the world map. Everywhere there is a pin, she has visited. And I haven't ever counted the pins, but there are a lot of them. I knew I wanted to study tap with Billie after I saw the Billie Mahoney Dance Troupe perform in the Music of Our Lives benefit performance for the Foundation of Aging at Yardley Hall in 2004. Billie directed and choreographed the Song and Dance Review, featuring, of course, Kansas City's fabulous senior stars, and another one again in 2006. I immediately became her beginning tap student at City in Motion. After advancing to the intermediate, then the advanced class, she asked me to join her dance troupe. My relationship grew into a friendship, sharing evenings of meals, listening to jazz music, and doing the shim sham. I adopted her as a member of my family, a wise, very successful, and accomplished woman after my mother passed away. Most recently, with a handful of others, I became one of her caregivers. After years of resistance to accepting help for anything, we finally did convince Billie to trust us and trust our intentions to carry out her wishes after she passed away. In her happiest moments, I believe Billie was dancing, traveling, or telling stories from her treasure trove of rich and unique experiences and relationships involving all those famous people in all the multitude of exotic places, sharing and learning more about others, herself, and life. These memories blessed her life with so much meaning and joy. She loved sharing them with others, accomplishments as well as struggles. Just as she had her stories, so also do we all have our stories of Billie. Today I want to share one of my favorites, which I would title, Caught in a Lie Telling the Truth. After many falls, trips to the hospital, weeks in rehab, Billie was discharged from the hospital one time and allowed to go home only if she hired home health care. She canceled the service in about a couple of weeks. I wrote a detailed sheet of instructions describing her routines, needs, and personality that I placed in the caregiver's logbook. I thought this might help caregivers understand her to more successfully care for her. I had hidden the logbook in a place where I thought she wouldn't find it. But find it she did, and took the first opportunity the next time I brought groceries over to confront me. She demanded to know who wrote it. As I squirmed and stuttered and shrugged my shoulders trying to avoid telling her the truth. I actually think she knew it was me. Wanting to test how long I continued to lie and deny my authorship. You don't pull the wool over Billie's eyes for too long. I admitted writing the letter, quickly responding, well, Billie, all of it is true, isn't it? Her face melted into one of her heartwarming smiles, her crystal blue eyes sparkling like stars. She nodded yes in agreement. After a deep sigh of relief, I felt that she finally fully trusted me to help her. I quickly gathered the log and sheet up in my arms to take them away and out of her sight and hopefully out of her mind. With the speed and accuracy that a snake strikes its prey, she snatched the sheet out of my grip, declaring she wanted to keep it. I jumped back and I said, okay, one more document for your archival collection. On her Dance on Cable television interviews of over 400 professionals in the dance world, Billie would often say that to be successful, one had to be a survivor. She truly was a survivor, still dancing at 92 at a celebration of National Tap Dance Day at the Blue Dolphin Jazz Bar in 2019. In her own words, from a teacher profile written for her class at the ballet here, and I'm sorry I can't credit who wrote that, but this was a quote. She was quoted as saying, quote, life can be pretty miserable, but you get in the dance studio and all that goes away. As soon as you cross the threshold of the studio, it all disappears and you can have joy. In your memory, Billie, we promise to dance on just like you did. Maybe if we believe the inscription you have written on your gravestone many years ago, forever a time to dance, we just might have as long and as full a life.
And now we have another video presentation for you. They are greetings from some of Billie's dancers.
Mike Strong here. More than 20 years ago, Billie had me cut on the count when I barely knew what a downbeat felt like. Cutting out of a clip on the 2 means coming into the next clip on the 2 or the 3 or an offbeat between. Tap lessons then led me to shooting on the count, because tapping changed my sensory system in ways that years of studying videos could not have. I heard and saw detail and clarity and delicacy where only a few weeks before was noise and notion. Suddenly, as an educator, it struck me that in dance I could sense the essence of all learning. Thanks, Billie.
I'm Sharon, and I'm a member of the Billie Mahoney Dance Troupe. And I was thinking about Billie. I found a card that she had given to me in March of 2013. And it says, Sharon, it's a true joy to watch you enjoy dancing. Love, Billie. The last 20 years, I really have truly indeed enjoyed watching and doing dance as a result of Billie and my friends at the dance troupe. And I vividly remember the times that she would sit at the side as we would dance here at Kansas City Ballet, and she would have a big smile of pride. A highlight for me also in the 20 years was when Billie Mahoney Dance Troupe performed in New York City. Thank you, Billie, and bless you as you tap dance in heaven.
This is Nicole English at Fort Hays State University. What do I remember about Billie Mahoney? That she was a big inspiration to me. We got to know each other well at City in Motion Dance School when I became school director, and we collaborated on a number of dance shows like the Arts Bar fundraisers and the Tap Jams and the Union Station shows and Dance in the Park, Tap Day, the Bolender Center, and of course the Fringe Festival, and of course shooting video with Mike Strong on the Dance On videos. Thank you, Billie Mahoney, for all the inspiration you've given to all of us. Thank you.
Billie, it's Jane. You are one of the most amazing people I have ever met in my life. I really enjoyed the way you conducted your senior classes and how professional they were, and you even called us out for mistakes. You certainly will be missed in the future. Until we meet again someday, I hope. Bye.
My name is Naomi Mayakawa, and I was one of the newer members of Billie Mahoney's Tap Troupe. I had the opportunity to study under Billie for only about 5 years before the COVID quarantine shut the world down. My only regret is that I did not discover her sooner. To this day, I get very sad when my fellow troupe members talk about performance mishaps that occurred before I joined, realizing that I would have been eligible to join the troupe 10 years before I did. But I am also extremely grateful that I did discover her when I did, and that I was able to experience her vast knowledge and passion for dance. Billie will be dearly missed.
Hi, I'm Karen Seaton. Billie was a talented performer and choreographer and an excellent storyteller. Among my favorites were Getting Her First Kiss from Mickey Rooney, and notating the twist for Chubby Checker, and working with Luigi and with Bob Fosse, and entertaining our troops with Bob Hope. But I think one of her proudest moments was when Gregory Hines called her up on stage to do the Shim Sham and introduced her as the legendary Billie Mahoney.
Terpsichore and her famous lyre, the muse of instrument and dance. How she can motivate and inspire if given merely half a chance. Dance on, Billie, dance on.
I took classes for about 13 years. And when I was a young girl, I had heard about a step called a wing time step. And none of the teachers I had over the years taught that step until I took classes from Billie. And Billie taught all of us how to do a wing time step. That was really special to me. I was thrilled about it. And I will always remember it and remember Billie.
Okay, we're going to bring back the dance troupe again for the second time. And we're going to present a dance that is called Side by Side. We're not exactly clear on the history of Side by Side, but we think it was originally built for the entire company in pairs. But we also all remember seeing Billie do it with Donna Pettis, who was one of the dancers from the troupe, who's not, unfortunately, couldn't be with us tonight. And I also had the great honor to go with Billie at the Clown Convention, which you saw some clips from there, where she was wearing the green vest when the company performed. We like this dance and the sentiment as a way to honor Billie, and so we will show you Side by Side. To use a trite phrase, our next speaker needs very little introduction to, I think, almost all of you. Fabulous entertainer, singer, and tap dancer, Lonnie McFadden.
I didn't prepare anything for the day. I really didn't know what I would say. I still have a problem realizing that she's not here. Billie did more she did more to promote the art of tap dancing here in Kansas City than any one certain person. There are a lot of people with dance studios that focus on different types of dancing. And there are a lot of people that have done big things here in Kansas City. But she was a force of nature. I mean, I remember the first time I met Billie, my brother and I, we had a residency at the Barney Plaza, it's the downtown Marriott now. We were performing 4 nights a week, and one night this lady walked in and introduced herself as Billie Mahoney. She told us about herself, and we got to know her through the years. And after that, she introduced us and everybody in Kansas City to Tap Dance Day. I didn't even know it was a tap dance day. I've been a tap dancer my whole life. Billie made sure that everybody in Kansas City knew about the importance of tap dancing and about the importance of the art form. And Billie did so many things to help promote my brother and I way before we did festivals in Europe and things with international things. And I think one of the greatest honors that I've had is when she was awarded a national honor. And I was looking at some of the letters. She could have chose anybody in the dance world. She was highly respected by all of the best tap dancers in the world. And when they asked her who they wanted to present her the award, she told them me. And I apologize for my demeanor right now, but I really did lose a friend. She, not only did she do so much for tap dancing, all night long you're seeing what you know. I remember when I first met some of her students, Sharon and Jane and Bill, poor Corey. They used to come by when I had a dance studio, and we would trade stories about Billie. She was a force. She was confident. She was great. I remember the last time I saw her perform, it was at this convention for, I don't know, a politically correct way to say this, but it's a convention for for people that sell things for the elderly. So they had Billie's group out there, and they asked me to come in. When I walked in, Billie was on stage doing high kicks and throwing batons up in, 2 batons, twirling batons and throwing them 20 and 30 feet in the air. And I was standing in the back of the room and thinking, how in the hell am I gonna follow that? God, I just love Billie. I loved her so much. I loved it when she would get on me. I loved it when she wouldn't miss word. Last time I introduced her, I said her age the wrong, and she stopped me in the middle of my introduction and told everybody, I love her. Thank you. I love you.
Well, kind of hard to follow that gentleman, but we're going to try. And we thought the best way to do that would be to do a little more dancing. And to introduce the piece you're going to see next, I'll tell you that it's a piece that I learned, I don't know, whatever many years ago. But I was never totally comfortable with this piece because it involved a prop. Okay? Had to dance with the cane. Now, I'm just not that kind of dancer, I think. I don't know, whatever. So we did this dance last, I believe, here for Dance Day in 2019. Dance Day in August 2019. And unfortunately, I got put in the lineup for the first dance. And Mr. Kevin there, yeah, raise your hand, was videoing right there in that corner. And how do I remember that? Because I was in the front row, in that corner. Now, mind you, when we have these things in our hands, we're always afraid we're going to do what? Drop them. And I was pretty proud of myself that I had never dropped my cane. Well, on that fateful day in August, I was dancing away in front of Kevin and his video camera, and I dropped my cane. So I had to scramble after it and get it, and it's right in front of the piano. And I had to, never mind, but I had to pick up the cane from the floor, get back in the line, and get back and finish the dance, right? So I was mortified. And Billie couldn't come to that performance because she was doing some rehab. And so I called her after the performance and I said, Billie, I am so upset. And she's like, what? And I said, I dropped my cane. And she said, don't worry about it. I've dropped my cane all over the world. I'm like, oh, good. I'm not on the bad list. I'm not in the back row or whatever she's going to do. So getting narrowly on her way. And so I guess Kevin, a couple of weeks after that, brought the video over so Billie could see it. And shortly after that, I called Billie. And I said, Billie, how did you like the video of Dance Day? And she said, you dropped your cane. Okay, she kind of knew how to, when she wanted to. But you know what? We're going to do this dance because it was one of her signature dances. It was built as there were 2 dances. This one and the following dance I was Shine on My Shoes. And she choreographed these for a performance in New York at the Tap City Dance Festival when the entire troupe went up and did these 2 dances. So I am sure that these dancers that are going to show you this number, and I'm not in it so I can't drop my cane, right? Are going to do a stellar job, and if they drop their cane, Billie will say, don't worry about it, I dropped my cane all over the world. And just for good measure, one last cane drop, the last cane drop, right? For Billie.
for sure, not for maybe, but I'm all dressed up tonight. Stepping out with my honey, can't be bad, feels so good. Never felt quite so sunny. And I keep on knocking wood. There'll be smooth sailing 'cause I'm trimming my sail. In my top hat, my white tie, and my tail. Stepping out with my baby. Can't go wrong 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be tonight. Heavy smooth sailing 'cause I'm trimming my sails. In my top hat, my white tie, and my tail. Stepping out, baby. Can't go wrong 'cause I'm in right. Ask me when will the day be? The big day may be tonight. Stepping out with my little baby tonight.
Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be able to be here and to say a few words about Billie and about the relationship that I enjoyed with her. I met Billie in church. She went to our church for many years until she wasn't able to come anymore. And I was acquainted with her during those years, but I didn't know her intimately until I became one of her caregivers. And I enjoyed so many times with her. She was such a good storyteller, as you've heard from the others. And when I would take her to on a doctor's visit, let's say, or to get groceries or whatever she needed done, the whole way in the car, she would tell me stories. A lot of times she would want to have lunch afterwards, and all the while we sat there, she was telling me stories. And I never got tired of listening to her stories. They were, I say they were mesmerizing. And she told them so well, and I could just see the joy in her face as she told them. So I knew she really loved her life. There were a number of things that she told me that, and she may have told them at different ways at different times. But well, one time I was speaking of doctor trips, and I thought it was quite amusing. I wanted to talk tonight about how she desired excellence in everything she did. And that was a hallmark of Billie's. It had to be, well, you might say perfect. To me, perfection to her, I know, was a thing of being flawless. She wanted everything that was done to be just so. And she wanted to be excellent because in that way you stand out. You stand out for doing things the right way. And she had her own ideas about what was the right way, too. So we had a few interesting and humorous things that we all at church, got a good laugh at. And one of them was the fact that, you know, she wanted etiquette. Everything had to be done just according to etiquette. And we had this young couple that always sat in the front part of the church, and they hadn't been married very long, so they were still very, very in love, you might say. And so he would always have his arm around them. Maybe she would look at him sweetly, and they you know, they kind of were romantic with each other. And it was always the same after church. She would say, "Why doesn't somebody tell them to get a room?" So we always laughed about it. I'd say, "Billie, they're newlyweds, you know, they'll get over this." But anyway, other things she showed she wanted excellence was when we were going to the doctors a lot of times, a good part of the time we were late. Because she did need some help getting ready and various things, but this one day she was very late, and this had happened before, but she was getting so it was harder to get ready. But she should have been ready by this particular time. She'd have me help her put out her clothes and decide what she was going to wear. And this one day I was thinking, "Gosh, Billie, come on, you know, we're going to be late." And she was in the bathroom, and I came to realize she was sitting down on her dressing table chair, and she was putting on her makeup. She wasn't dressed, and she was going to be late, but she wanted to make sure that when she went out, she looked the best she could. And I thought that was really sweet, even though it was frustrating at the time. Anyway, I remember her telling stories about different places that she'd gone and different things she did. And this one particular time, she told me that when she was talking about her TV show that she had, and this is something I think a lot of you knew about her and probably would remember, she told me that she was going to have this man come onto her show on this particular night, and she said that her producer came and talked to her and said, "He's not to come on the show. If you bring him on the show, you'll be canceled." And she said that he was a black man. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was Chubby Checker, but I can't remember. But anyway, she said she pondered over that. She thought about it. And she said, "I just decided it was the right thing to do. I should have him on the show. If they were going to cancel me, cancel me." So she didn't tell him she was going to do it, but she went ahead and did it. And I believe if she said, I don't remember if she said he didn't cancel me, but they didn't renew the show the next season. And I don't know if she had went to another show or not. But she was telling me how she felt that that was the right thing to do, even though it was hard. And another thing she told me about was that after she had come into Christianity, she'd been baptized and all that, she was thinking one time about how she always wore makeup. Performers wear makeup. That's just the way it is. But she felt like that she should stop wearing makeup. And she was beautiful anyway, so she really didn't need it. And so she said one of the people working on the show said to her one day, "I don't know what kind of guru got a hold of you, but you need to wear your makeup." But she did what she thought was right. She always did. And, we had quite a few little laughs, and you probably all knew different things that she would say, and this was one of those things that I will share, is we had, at our church, we would have potlucks every so many weeks, and she always came to those, she enjoyed those, but she only would bring one thing, and it was always the same. She brought deviled eggs. And she was proud of them, and you had to make them a certain way. If you made them a different way, they weren't good. But it got to be that was her thing. And one day, another lady brought deviled eggs. And as you can imagine, she was not happy. And so when she found out who had done this terrible thing, dancing, she took the lady aside and told her, "That is my job. Don't do that again." And that was the pastor's wife. But she wasn't afraid of anybody. So I had just a lot of fun memories with her. And so I'm glad I was able to share just a little bit of that with you. We love you, Billie. Keep dancing.
Hi, I'm Christine Colby-Jakes, and I have so enjoyed all of everybody's stories about Billie because they're all so true. And Lonnie, I feel your loss, I think we all do. We're just sort of wrapped up in the moment of celebrating Billie, and it seems like she hasn't been gone that long. I feel like it's just been a week or two since I've seen her. So I'm sure I'll feel the impact even more as time goes by. But I first met Billie at a performance of Kansas City Ballet in the lobby. She came kind of running toward me and introduced herself, and I had heard her name a lot in town. And she said, "Luigi told me to contact you." And that was like, how am I hearing the name Luigi in Kansas City? Even though he was known worldwide, it was kind of just out of the blue. And I had studied Luigi's technique. I had danced in his company. I taught at the school. And then she informed me that she was Luigi's first dance assistant when he started teaching in New York City. And she was also by then a master lava notator, which is a method for notating dance and writing. And she had notated his entire warm-up as he was developing it. And he had contacted her and said, "You still have those notes, you still know that, could you recreate it? Because my work has gone through some changes." And she said, "Sure." He said, "Can you recreate it and put it on video?" And she said, "Well, I really can't do it anymore." And he said, "Well, I think Christine Colby-Jakes is in Kansas City, why don't you call her?" And so she had been trying to track me down, and we happened to meet at the performance. Now, I'd done Luigi's work for many, many years, and he had a series of like 13 positions. I couldn't remember them all, so I kind of filled in some of my own things, and I really wanted to show her. And I did, and her comment was, "But he didn't have 13 positions. And what happened to the legs? Where are the legs?" But he did have 13 arm positions. And she still found something wrong with the arm positions. But by then I knew Billie, and I knew how particular she was and how meticulous she was for detail. I read some of her writing. She's a marvelous writer. And she has taken people to task, the people that distributed her dance-on programs were making a lot of sloppy mistakes, and she took them to task for it and does it in the most wonderful way. So I was used to that. But I think, so Luigi wanted her to revive his warm-up, which she did, and we worked together. She taught it to me, I did it, we did the video. We went up to New York with Mike Strong, who filmed the class and filmed Luigi again. And when the thing was finished, it was really cool because as we were demonstrating, the lava notation would run along the screen to the right, so anyone learning it could immediately see the symbols and match it to the movement. And I thought that was an incredible tool, and I think one of her focuses was teaching. She loved it. She continued to talk about her students wherever she taught, and she was a born adventurer and teacher. We both also worked with Bob Fosse, and that was a wonderful time for her, and it was for me, and we shared a lot of stories, and it was amazing how after all these years, and even though our experiences were like 20 years apart, those stories were pretty much the same. Very interesting. So we got a chuckle. And I think we're here to celebrate and honor her, and I think maybe the best way to do that for me is to do a little combination of the first part will be a little bit of Luigi style, and the second part will be a little bit of Fosse style. I'm sure she'll be taking notes, and I'm sure she'll find something wrong. I just hope she can communicate what that is so that I don't do that again. And I'm going to have two people join me, Liz Trevino and Cindy Black. We're at the end of our program, and if you are a tap dancer and you have any inclination to come down and do a little dance with us, you might want to bring your shoes down and come put them on down here. Make sure all the screws are really tight, or else Kevin will get you. The dance we're going to do, to finish, is called the Shim Sham. And if you're a tap dancer, you know what that means, or you're better, right? The Shim Sham Billie taught us was a tap dance that every tap dancer should know. And traditionally, if you went to a tap performance, the last thing that happened at that tap performance was all the tap dancers in the room were invited to come down and do the Shim Sham. And I gotta tell you that we went out to Johnson County Community College one time and we saw a presentation out there called what's it, Live on Gregory? About Gregory Hines. So it was a tap performance, but it was national tap dancers coming in. And guess what? At the end of that performance, they asked all the tap dancers to come down and do the Shim Sham. So it's a traditional thing that you have to know. There are two versions of it, but we're going to do the version Billie taught us. Yes. And I'm very happy to say that Lonnie McFadden is going to join us. So, and also, you see right here at the piano, we have the infamous, the famous Rich Hill, not infamous. He and Cindy did side-by-sides together, I believe, at least once, twice. Anyway, but he's not tapping today. He's going to perform live for us for the Shim Sham. Come on! Get up.
thank you, everybody, and please enjoy some hors d'oeuvres and a little drink or two out in the lobby.
I am, yes.